Sorry if you've told me about your dating faux pas, it will end up in one of my shows. Hello, I'm Sherise Blackman and I am the creator of the Audible original Do Not Disturb, and I play the role of Saffron. So my favourite character to write was Sade, because I got to have so much fun with Sade. Everybody has a Sade in their friendship group, and if they don't have a Sade in their friendship group, they really need to. She's your ultimate ride or die friend. She's the one that says what everybody else is thinking, and she's unapologetic about it. So it was just really fun to kind of create a character and a world where that person can do and say all the things that they want to say. So I am born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, babe. Grew up on just that whole kind of R&B 90s flavour. Bands of the 90s, you know, Jodeci, artists like Jaheim, girl groups like SWV, like all of that is kind of like the era that I think was like just the best. And so when I wrote Do Not Disturb, it literally just came through that world, that kind of like vibe, 90s R&B flavour. As creator and writer, and then obviously starring as Saffron, there was a freedom. I kind of like, I was able to really create the world that I had generated in my mind and center everything around that, like friendship and love and taking, you know, not verbatim life experiences, but you know, how relationships can go, and then saying and doing what you really wanted to do. It was like a bit of a power trip, I can't even lie. But it felt good to be like, well, that's what she should have said, and that's what she should have done, and have fun with that. So yeah, there was a real freedom of being able to create the world that I then got to play in. My writing routine was imprisonment. It was the only way to do it. I locked myself into a room with food and supplies, and I wasn't allowed to leave until I'd done the set amount of work that I'd set myself. So just self-discipline. When we were recording, how much of what I had imagined, because obviously that's a massive part of being a writer and a creator is your imagination, how much that I imagined came into fruition. Like, I keep saying it now, like I'm like, this is exactly how I imagined Sade to be, exactly how I imagined Devon to be, like having actors come and put their spin on it and it still be so on point as to what I wanted to create. That really took me by surprise. The dynamics in the show have been very interesting because obviously lots of female friendships, relationships. However, I've drawn a lot of inspiration from, you know, the world around me, things that I've seen on television, favourite films, and just kind of like taking bits and pieces and putting together like this big collage of love stories and friendship groups. And like I said earlier, everybody's got a Sade or hopes to have a friend like that. Everybody hopes to have hopefully a friend like Saffron, and creating those kind of very authentic, relatable relationships where, you know, that dependable friend, that friend that you just like, not today, those relationships where you shouldn't, the forbidden fruit, but it just tastes so good. All of that stuff, and having fun and just playing around and seeing where it took me. See, modern dating is an interesting one. It's very different these days. You know, back in the day, you just go to a club and meet somebody, and now there's online dating. There's just so many different mediums now that probably didn't exist back in my day. And I thought it would be fun to kind of like put a bit of everything in there. You know, meeting people in a traditional way, in a poetry club, meeting people online, and just kind of, I've had so many stories. And you know when someone tells you like a dating nightmare, in my head as a writer, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write that down. And so that's what I did. So like, sorry if you've told me about your dating faux pas, it will end up in one of my shows. One of the most important things for me has been to write a story from a Black female POV, because it's something I felt I hadn't seen on these shores before. I grew up watching a lot of US shows like Girlfriends and Moesha, and just shows that literally did center the female Black female experience. So I was like, yeah, I wanted to write something that I hadn't seen before, something that I would enjoy. I think that's the big thing for me. I wanted to write something that I wanted to see, hear. This was really important to me, to give Black females from South London, North London, East London, West London, a platform and a stage. I always want to see Black women being loved on, as that's something that we never, ever get to see. And I think we deserve a love story just as much as the next person. And so when I was creating Do Not Disturb, that was in the forefront of my mind, was Black women being loved on unapologetically, unashamedly, and accepting it as well. Because like I said, in mainstream entertainment, it's not something we often get to see. So it was really important to me as a Black woman, and who has daughters and nieces. And that, I think it's time to join the story and join the conversation and have our own love stories. Working with this cast has been a dream come true. Literally, I feel so blessed to have been able to collaborate with such incredible talent. Some of the people that have worked on this, I have admired their work for years. Richard Blackwood's a legend, and someone that I grew up watching in the 90s, be that guy. So to be able to have him as part of the project, just a dream. And everyone's just been so giving and so much fun. So much fun. I don't think I've had this much fun ever. If I could go back to the beginning of this journey, I'd say chill. It's gonna be okay. In the words of Bob Marley, every little thing's gonna be all right. So, and it was, and it has been. I think that I could have saved myself a bit of anxiety. I'm so grateful and blessed to have worked with such an ensemble of incredible talent that have just given themselves and just elevated this project beyond my wildest dreams. I hope you love Do Not Disturb as much as I have loved making it. Please, please, please go and listen now. Only available on Audible, and I'll catch you soon.